Hello, everybody, and welcome to League of Europe Division 4 here. So, entering a fourth round already in the Championship, and we're here at Portimao, and we're in hopefully for full crits. Stephen just did something on accident, but he is not. He can hopefully just press and take over the car of the Alpine, where he's in. Should be alone for the time being tonight. However, Ariel Felipe might be joining later. We'll have to see about that. Thank you for the standings. We're loading into the session here. As it looks fully dry in qualifying, so I think most of the drivers will enjoy that. Energetics is having a comfortable lead early on in the season, 62 points after another race victory last time out in Suzuka. In second place, and well, technically, Major Falcon is in second place on 33 points. He's tied with Ultimate Mr. Piro, who's also on 33. Then is Kevin Cal and United Bosnia, both on 28 points in share fourth place. Joe Victor is down to sixth already, as J-Luke has retired and left. I don't know how he's done that. So if he can get back out. As I'm not sure what's happening. Seems all fine. Yeah, Joe Victor in sixth place, and James Head and Stevan are with the exact same results in a different order on 7th and 8th. So pick and choose who you want above there. 24 points for them. 9th with Swip and 14 points, and Serial Killer in 10th on 13 points. As just gonna have to wait. As Steeman cannot select this car. I'm gonna tell him to try and leave and rejoin, and hopefully he can get back in. And yeah, so we've seen the first cars out on track. Just gonna bring up the spectator menu for just a second here. We're seeing James Head is one of the cars out, a Ferrari just a bit further, which is I think Ultimate Mr. Piro. Made quite a decent impression to third places in the last couple of races. The Finn, as a debutant, is gone back in. Jake Luke has retired as well, so I don't know if he's going to be able to actually participate in his car, because it says his car is DNF'd. But hopefully he can take part in this race. Now we're going to go on board with the Finn. 15 corners here around this pretty straightforward, but very, elevation changeable track. I didn't quite find the right words there. That's Lisa just making his way down towards turn 1 aboard with the Ferrari. So Steven has managed to get into his car, I think. He got into turn 1, very late on the brakes for Ultimate Mr. Piro. First 2 and into 3, and then we get to one of the most difficult parts of the track. You need to be very careful going up this hill into turn 4. And the second DRS will hit you right now. Along with the second one, split 22.5. I suspect we'll see some quicker as Mr. Piro is coming through turn 5 there, the exit. And go upward into turn 6 and 7 and 8. Another very difficult corner as you go all the way up this hill. Very steep, and then you go right away down on the exit. Traction looking quite decently. I think this is a very safe lap for the Finn. For the double hander of turn 9-10. It's in California, just in the fastest time. Didn't clock he was during a lap, 17.8. With Ben Scott going a bit quicker in a 17.6. We'll see what the Finn can do just in behind. Heading through turn 12. Again, very difficult in traction, these corners. And heading through turn 14 and now into 15. Clouds. So we're going to see the Ferrari cross the line very soon. I don't think it's going to be quite up to the standards of the first two drivers, but an 18.5 will at least get him a bank on the board. I'm going to say, unfortunately, for J-Luke, that's going to be done for him this session. Access is in the third best time. James Head's a bit quicker though. 10th ahead of Ben Scott as he's in first place. So now a few more drivers obviously in mind. I'm just going to tell J-Luke that I think it's done, but I hope obviously he is able, so keep trying. I've seen Ghost Chicane as well going into second place. Apologies, just trying to get the message across in the Division 4 chat. The Alpine getting himself into P2 for the time being, and I don't think I'll be too unhappy about that starting off. It's one of the other Red Bulls. I think it's Kevin Cow just starting a lap. Then the McLaren in behind. It's Energetics has set a time. 17.8. Slayer just starting a lap. To seeing Flip Namsram come towards the end of his lap as well. Dutchman having some bad luck in certain races, so just missing out on the very end. 17.8. I don't think that's a bad time whatsoever. Only 2.5 tenths behind James. Has seen Karkan and just drive around on a harder compound. It's not a medium, so he's up in his level a little bit, you know, getting used to those tires as well. Seen Kevin Cal, I think, just making his way through turn 8, but he just invalidates on the exit there. It's very easy to do, just running a little bit wide. Steven coming through. I saw someone else shoot up the timesheet, and not too sure who. I think it was Ibo. Just seeing Slayer towards the end of his lap. Near the end anyway. Goes Recon as well. In his first appearance, even though being a full-time driver. He's on the mediums right now. Not quite a competitive lap, I think. One of the Alpha Tauris just ahead. I couldn't quite pluck who that was. I think that was Serial Killer, actually. Gonna have a look at these two drivers. Mostly Steban. Obviously having to join a little bit later, but he's in nonetheless, so thank God that's all sorted out. As we've seen Slayer actually put in the fastest time. Talking about him earlier. 17.4. As it looks all fairly close together. I'm just waiting for that one driver to elevate that beyond that level, and I feel like it could be Steban if he's the next one on the lap. Heading now down towards turn 14, slides a little bit into the corner. Could be quite difficult to get that done. To 14 and now into 15. Flat out, slightly tighter towards the line is what I recommend as he opens up the DRS. Gets himself on the exact same time, and it says he's purple, but it's put him in second place. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. But both Slayer and Steven on the exact same time. And yeah, that's quite unfortunate to see that that's not worked properly. It should be Slayer because he set the time earlier due to the F1 rules. We've seen Serial Killer and Ghost Recon both getting in time very close next to each other. 18.8 and 18.5 respectively. So the American getting a few tenths on ahead of the Indian. Living in Canada actually, I believe. So we'll see. Players moving through in first place. Seen one of the Ferraris as well starting on the lap, Mr. Puro. Good to keep an eye on him as well. Car Cannon still making his way around on the mediums. No ERS being used, so don't expect the times to be too competitive for the time being. Just gonna scroll through if we can find anyone else. A few drivers not having set their laps. I think Major Falcon is planning to get one on the board, and 21.8 is a very solid first sector out of experience. Robertson as well, as he's invalid unfortunately, so we won't be seeing a lap on his end. And the Alpine's coming towards the line. That might be Ghost UK just starting this lap. And I would be correct in saying that. Another Alpine, that'd be Steven coming into the pits. Looking at Major Falcon, he has invalidated 52.8. I don't think his middle sector was as strong, but he might have just backed off a little bit after invalidating. I can't say I haven't paying too much attention. California up on this lap. He was the first one to set a time. Now going up the timesheet into P3. Himself among the fight for pole position. And looking quite close all there. I'm quite happy to see that play out. We've had a few races where, you know, first or second was quite a bit clear in qualifying. At least the races have been very good, to be fair. But see that as close as it is right now. I'm happy to say that. See that. Let's see about Mr. Purr though. Can he get himself among that fight? So a bit of a conservative first lap. Across the line, the fin goes. A slight improvement, but not too much. Only by the 10th. Doesn't get him any higher than 10th. Right now, Car Cannon on once again an improved lap, so he's getting himself closer and closer into a rhythm. As Kevin Cowell's also just about to start the lap, the American. Heading down towards turn number 1. That's a go chicane. This is what I was waiting for. That lap that is just quite a bit quicker than the rest. 17 flat, just about getting himself into pole position right now. Energetics though, just a 17 flat as well. So it's all tied once again there. 300s ahead of the Alpine. And he can be quite happy with that lap. We've seen him being very consistent this season, and that's why he's out on top. He's not necessarily been the absolute quickest, but I think 17 flat is showing that he still does have that pace, and he's not just locking into the wind or anything. As the McLaren and the Alpines look at the first 2 rows for the time being. Can James change that? Yes, he can. Into P3, 17.3. And once again, a decent lap. J-Luke has left the session. I think he's going to try once more, hopefully. Swip get himself into P9. 18.1, not too bad. And another half. Scott just coming into the pits as well as a Ferrari just in behind. As I'm just gonna look through towards the back end. Kevin Cal, he's not set a valid lap yet, but this is about to change as he's heading down towards the line. DRS is going to be open. And 75 puts himself also in the mix. P6, and that's 3 teams all just kind of close together there. With Red Bull, McLaren, and Alpine in reverse order. Just making up the top 6 positions right now. As the other Mercedes, Robertson just starting a lap. I'm gonna have a look at. Not too sure because no one is really on the lap. Ippo's a bit up on this time, so gonna have a look here. The 10th up, down towards the line. 19.5, gets himself somewhat in a competitive range. Robertson, let's go on board with him. The Mercedes heading down towards the sector 1 split, 22.7. I think he would have hoped for better at that point. So he's coming through turn 5. Conservative on the exit once again. Gonna keep having a look if anyone else is on the lap. Steven might actually be, so I'm just gonna head over to him. He is also on the lap, just in behind Robert, so gotta keep an eye on that. Major Falcon also just about to start the lap. Robertson heading through turn number 9. Into 10 and 11, a double right-hander. Wide entry and opening it up on the exit. 53.7. We'll see where that gets him down towards the final sector. Steven has just come across the sector 2 splits. 5.10s up. That's definitely one we have to keep an eye on. Major Falcon 21.9 in sector 1. As we're seeing the Romanian come through down towards turn 15. Just going to see what his time brings him. And then we can head over to Steven. As Robertson gets himself a 91, not too competitive now. Steven though, definitely competitive, 17 flat as well. So yeah, let's see who can break into the 16s first. Is it going to be Major Falcon? Because he definitely has a shot of doing that. So he's heading through the last couple corners, close to the line. We'll have to see if this is good enough to get himself among the top times. The German cross the line as a 17.1, so he also gets himself into P4. And breaks the streak of the Alpines, McLarens, and Red Bulls dominating this. I haven't seen Sinful out on track either. Quite confused by that. So that's not normally the approach I would have to qualifying. Slayer's time's not been good. He must have made a mistake. He's trying to go again. Goes Recon just in behind to improve into 11th. And 17.9, very solid time. Ben Scott, I think, just also starting a lap. As well as the Ferrari of, I think that is Mr. Puro. Yes, so fairly close together, so hopefully they don't run over each other. Flip numbers around 2.5 tenths up in sector 1. Let's see if he can improve. So, I think he's the furthest along on the lap. Heading down towards turn 10, 11. Now you want to clip this apex and get it on the curb on the exit there. 5 tenths up. This could be good. Can his last sector continue that streak though? For the Dutchman, let's see. Accelerating out of turn 13, heading into 14. And on the exit, it's important to get the traction right here. Early on the power. The Aston Martin reserve is heading through the last corner as he's trying to take all of the track. Across the line, is it going to be pole? Not quite, 17.040. It's still a very good time, puts him into P2. And he definitely can't complain about that, but I don't know if he has enough time to make it back in. I'm going to keep having a look. Slayer is invalid, so he's definitely not on the lap. Ben Scott might be on one. As well is Mr. Puro just in behind. Ben Scott going into the pit, so he's not finishing his. Mr. Puro is finishing his lap to Finn. Give himself a bit more competitive. Not quite. 18-2. And that's probably going to be it for qualifying for him. It has to be said, it's a little bit disappointing, given his recent pace. But it's been more in the races that he's been very quick, so maybe he can make that in the race. He's going to have a challenge to do. Just running down the clock, the last 3 minutes of qualifying. We've seen Serial Killer on a lap, 3/10 up for him. Shown a few good performances in the last couple of races. He got a few license points from the stewards, but he still is in the top 10 in the standings, so I don't think he complained that much. The Indian. So he's coming through turn 15 now. Let's see if he can get himself a bit more competitive than P15 now. Across the line, last lap of his qualifying probably as well. 18-4. Could be worse, could be better. I think he might have hoped for a little bit better than that. Obviously I can't speak for him, but we'll have to see. Maybe he is knowledgeable about his limitations currently. Kevin Cal was on the lap, I think he messed up coming through turn 5. So he clouded the curb a little bit too much. Looking as well at one of the Alfa Romeos starting a lap, Axel. As everyone's just trying to get their last laps in. James, I think, is the one we're going to have a look at. Although he is a 10.5 down, he's going to get a McLaren on his way. Let's hope it doesn't block him whatsoever. He does drive a track, so that shouldn't really affect him that much. I think coming through turn 7 now. Can keep it flat, and James does that quite nicely. Through turn 8, definitely not flat. And it's decent exit for the Red Bull. Let's see if he can make some time coming through sector 2 and 3. The Red Bull is coming through turn 11. Sector 2 split right here on the exit. A little bit up actually, so he's gained about 2/10 coming through that sector. And for turn 13, it's looking all quite tidy for the Red Bull. Let's see, maybe he has some time left over in this last sector. There's a little bit of a wiggle, but just that keeps it in check. And nearly across the line. Let's see if he can get himself into a further position than 6th currently. 73, 3/10 he needs to find. Only half a tenth, so P6 at max is going to be for him, as the last minute has gone in of qualifying. Have a look, Axel was on the lap, 5/10 up. Gonna have a look at the cross line. A lot of cars coming just across the line there. The Greek across the line himself, 17.6, himself just ahead of his teammate. About 3/10, 17.6 is a very solid time, and this qualifying is looking and very close. I think let's go K come towards the end of the lap. Energetics is out of the session, just caught on board a little bit of that. 17-2, non-improvement for K. I think the Switch is starting his final run, as the flag will be out very soon. One of the Aston Martins, which is Major Falcon. I think he might be just about able to catch flag, 20 seconds remaining. And he will be just about fine. The other Red Bull, as the Serial Killer, is also retired from position in the pits. Kevin Cal, 2/10 up. Can he find more in the last sector across the line? 17-3, just behind his teammate into P7. The Williams cars as well, California, slight improvements. They have more improvement in the last sector. P6, flag is out. Steban is heading across the line. No improvement for him. Car Cannon has gone into the pit, so he's done. Mr. Puro is also done. His car hopefully doesn't block anyone. He was too late across the line, I think. I'm not too sure how that's ended up there. Seeing one of the Haas drivers as well. He is invalid. That's Ben Scott's. The Mercs also near the end of their laps. But NASCAR is done as well, so it's going to have to come from someone else. Robertson, not going to really be anywhere near. An 18.7. So that's going to be it for him. As we're seeing one of the Ferraris. Axel heading into the pits. James heading into the pits. Goes Recon heading into the pits. A lot of drivers are already done or have messed up on the laps. So maybe it's going to have to be Ghost UK. Now he's done. Major Falconen, the German, is the last hope for a 16 in this session. As Kevin Cal, I think, is done as well. So let's see, can the German towards the line get any better than he currently has? Across the line, and he does, 16.7. Great time at the last minute from the German. Major Falcon putting on a pole by 2.5 tenths. He will undoubtedly be very happy with that. Discarding Steban's time, 17 flat, he will still be fairly happy with that one, I reckon. as he has got P2. I think Kevin Cal is done, so let's hope he can just make it to the pits. No cars are blocking each other, because that can get some grip ends, unfortunately, in this game. Unfortunately, I haven't seen Sinful out on track. Peculiar strategy to just wait in the pits and be lost. That's not my ideal plan, but you know what? He can do him, I guess. But yeah, good qualifying from H Falcon, just getting it at the end there, and just overall very, very close grid here. Like the top 9, and even excluding Major Falcon, second and like 11th is about 6/10 of a second, which in Division 4 you don't really see that often. So yeah, quite happy that they provided me with a very good qualifying here, and even behind that, it's still all fairly competitive. All the way down to like 16th. So amazing qualifying there in Portimao. Let's see how that's going to transfer into the race. So we're going to have a look at the full results. Major Falcon getting pole position ahead of Stepan in second, and Flip Namstrom in third with Energetics in P4 on the 17 flats, as well as Ghost UK in P5 with California in P6. The Red Bulls locking out the fourth row. James had just ahead of Kevin Cal. Then it's Slayer and Ben Scott running at the top 10. Here ahead of the Alfa Romeo lockout in the 6th row. With Sweat in 13th and Ultimate Mr. Puro in 14th. He's going to have to come for a bit further this time out. Serial Killer in 15th with Robertson in 16th. Ibos getting 17th with Karkan 18th. J-Look 19th and Sinful 20th with the last two not having set a lap time whatsoever. They're going to have to do it from the back of the grid. Let's hope that J-Look is able to pick a setup as well. I'm gonna hope. I'm not too sure. As loading into session looks all dry here as well. As Division 2 is currently having a restart. Strategy-wise, it's a very interesting track. I think any one stop is relatively similar. I think the pit lane is a little bit too long for 2 stops, but what is it, the old safety car? You never can count that one out either. But I think we can see soft medium, we can see medium hard, we can see soft hard, and all in the reverse order as well as hard medium. You know, there's a lot of different options. As far as I know, it's all dry. We're gonna have to see. So loading in. I hope the formation lap is on. I'm just gonna have a quick check. It should be on. As obviously we had some issues earlier on. Looking at the lights here. As it is, the formation lap is on, so thank God that we didn't miss the start right there. And yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of variation in the tires here. A lot of medium runners. So let's cross off the ones that are not on those. So we're seeing Major Falcon on softs in first, so he's aiming to have a good start and get away. And Jet can P4, as well as James at in P7, so expect those guys to definitely make it through the grid quite early, I reckon. A bit further down goes Recon as well on 12 on the softs. As well as Serial Killer, 15th. And then we have 3 hard runners as well on P10, 14 and 20 with Ben Scott in 10th, Mr. Puro in 14th, so he's definitely aiming for a second half glory. And as well as Sinful also on the hards in 20th. Let's see, we have not seen him out on track at all, so let's see how the strategy goes for the Latvian. They're a reserve this season as well, joined it a little bit later. Gonna have to see. He's got a few points I think on the board from the Chinese Grand Prix, if I'm not mistaken. But this should be a very, very interesting race as we're heading down towards the end of the formation lap. So I'm just getting a bit of water to provide the best commentary possible. Just heading down towards the final corner. We're seeing Ferrari actually off track to Sebo. We'll see who's going to have the best start here as they make their way up the hill On a bit of a plateau here as the start finish. It's quite fun to see as they head downhill into turn 1. It's going to be a very interesting start. Bit of a squeezing point in turn 1, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a few cars round early on, especially in turn 3 as well. Bunches up quite a bit. Major Falcon getting disqualified, so he's going to be set a bit further back into his grid slot, as well as Steban, so this provides the opportunity for the second row potentially to allow cars at the back make up the grid. Now we're going to have to see if Major Falcon can keep his lead down towards turn 1. So waiting for the lights to come on and go out. So take quite a bit of long time. I think one of the cars is still not fully in their slots. That's why I presume. We've seen Ibo drive off. Ibo's cars just drive off. And that's not exactly what I expected to see. I'm not sure how that's happened. Ibo has retired at this point. I'm just gonna have a look if they're going in again. The Swift has called for a restart, so we are gonna restart this session. Just trying to get the results as well as I can. There we go. So a few cars are in. It's a lot of Jadlik. Get going as well. And just getting Swift to grid as well, so he can set that up, and hopefully we can get back on the way as soon as possible. Unfortunate, Codemaster is quite amazing at this, I can't lie. As I'm just gonna leave the session at this point. You're gonna have to wait a little bit to get a restart in. That's just got an invite there from organizer himself, and yeah, just inform as well. There was a dry race, in fact. As James has just said that as well, so hopefully we can all get this back on the way. I'm just hoping to join this. It's taking a bit long. There we go. So I'm just gonna have a look for the settings as Sub is setting up. Hopefully that can all get sorted out as well. Just gonna have to look if the settings are alright. Obviously, just helping out here. Trying to do my best. Still looking at still dynamic, but that should change. Damage is looking all good. Standard standard, obviously, as normal. And this looks all fine as well. Time being, is just one person that we're missing him, I think. So Swip also has to pick his car himself. One other person as well, which is I'm just gonna have like one of the Aston Martins. That's actually Flip Namtram, who still needs to join this lobby. I'm just gonna try and invite him as well. And get everyone's in the session. Swift needs to pick his own car, and then we can get going. So just waiting. Hopefully we can get this back on the way as soon as possible. As the Dutchman still needs to, dress and pick his Mercedes. Otherwise he can't put himself on the grid. As hopefully, I'm just gonna have a look. The formation lab is on. It'll be as at his discretion if the formation lab will be on. Hopefully, the grid is set correctly, and there's no issues with that either. As should remind people that to pick their setups. And we can get back on the way. As we're just loading into the lobby, going straight into the race. Hopefully it should have a formation lap. And then we can get going here eventually for Division 4 race here at Portimao. Let's see if Energetic can keep his championship lead. Eldrive should be on the same set of tires. Although they're going to have a few more fresh tires, so that might bring into an advantage, but obviously you can't restrict that into certain ways. So just waiting on it's all going to be dry. Should be anyway, as it does look like that. Just gonna have a look. It is on the clear, so just gonna wait and redo the formation lap. Hopefully no glitches this time. And then we can get back on the way. Try out for this Division 4 race right here. Just waiting to load in. Hopefully no more incidents at the turn 1 either. It's definitely something to look out for. Formation lap will start right now. And just checking, but I think the grid is exactly the same. Well done to our organizer, Swip. And we can have a look at the tires as well. Should be mostly the same as well. I think so. I think, if I recall correctly, it's all the same. Actually, Flip is on the softs now. I don't think that should influence things either, as you know, the tire rule is definitely not playing a part anymore. So, all drivers are just trying to get their tires up to temps a little bit. So, Steven is just trying to take the outside there on the turn 5. He's completely drifting off, actually. Trying to heat up his tires. He definitely wants to get on with this. So being on the mediums, he's gonna have a bit of a disadvantage at right at the start. But I think maybe a bit further into the stint, those mediums won't drop off as much, and he might have an advantage again. So you've seen his quality pace has been amazing, but can he do it in the race this time out? We're gonna have to see. I have to admit, last race out in Japan, he didn't get the luckiest of races either. Had a few incidents where I wouldn't say it was his fault whatsoever. But obviously other people might differ. Gonna have a look at get a position change up for once and see who gets the best start out here. So heading for the final corner. Let's hope no glitches this time. Just line up your car properly. I should have that either. As they're making their way down towards the start-finish positions. As the Aston Martin will start on pole position. Can he maintain his lead? We have to watch and see. The other Aston Martin is trying to get himself as far alongside already as possible. And I've seen a few disqualifications, but I don't think that should be an issue. Hopefully. And the last couple of drivers is Sinful at the back. And hopefully we can get going. It does look like that. The timing glitches a little bit there, but it's fine. As the lights are going on. 5 red lights. Long hold, but out and away we go. Who has the best start here? It's looking like Flip has a very good start. Steven getting alongside as well. With it looks like Major Falcon's actually completely left that. Flip has gone to the back of the grid. I think that might be due to the tires. And he's decided his car kind of has retired from the session. And we have an immediate virtual safety car. Robert as well. Sinful gets a 5-second time penalty for a collision with Robert. I didn't quite catch what happened whatsoever there. Doesn't look like we're getting a full course safety car though, for the time being at least. Let's not sit alongside each other. Just someone take the penalty here, because otherwise you're just gonna get each other pulled up. As the VOC has gone. I have to see. So Major Falcon has held on. We're gonna have a look who's got the best start. Well, Axel definitely has a really good start. 5 places up. And he is up into 6th place already. He started on the medium, so peculiar, really good starts. A few gaps as well here and there. Very interesting. I think the virtual safety car should be ending pretty soon. Now look, Robertson has left the session after a lap 1 collision. Car Cannon as well out of the race, so we're left with 18 drivers. And that's going to be it for this time out. I think Flip might be the one pitting here. Just about now. Because I expect to see him in. Let's see if anyone else comes in. Damage potentially. Just to back out the grid. Didn't see any visual damage. For both drivers. I think Sinful. No, he's fine as well. So we're getting back on the way. We've seen Flip in the pit actually. After having not picked the right tires, and that's fair enough that he's taken that on, and you know, I reckon we'll see the mediums on this time out. I shouldn't be mistaken. A few ripples are going side by side. I think Kevin Couch made up a position on James Hetz, and you know, that's fair enough for Flip to have corrected himself, gone off the track, not hitting anyone, and just doing that quite nicely. Meanwhile, on track we're seeing some action here. James Hetz getting a very good switchback. And on the exit, he's going to take P6 from his teammate, just about. We've seen Axel around the outside, trying to make that stick. Going a bit deep into turn 8. It's still side by side with the American out of turn 8. But I think the Red Bull is just about going to hold on there. Meanwhile, Major Falcon at the front has got nearly a second lead. He's trying to extend that gap. Hopefully what this VOC has done is, you know, held on a little bit to people's ERS, it's obviously neutralized. Looking as well, Mr. Pro, decent start as well, 4 places up on the hards. So maybe he's got some better race pace than he had in qualifying. See in California, pretty close to Goshike, but I think a lot of these gaps are a bit skewed. Major Falcon does have the gap now to head of Steve-Van Goshike on the back of Energetics, and it's looking like James that's closing in as well on the Williams head. Mr. Pro and then Scott side by side for turn 1. Before just going a little bit off track, I think goes Recon has spun going through turn 1, and he's gone back to 16th place. His work at the start has been undone completely. It's Falcon trying to extend that gap quite a bit. Mr. Pro trying to get this gap on Ben Scott on the inside of turn 5. And on the exit, he has a little bit of a slide, and it might compromise his exit a little bit. Both drives on the hardest set of tires around here. As they're heading side by side down into turn 7, closing the gap with Mr. Pro, and he's through into P9. Seeing the positions change a little bit further back as well. And seeing Slayer having a bit of a mistake potentially. That might allow Swift to go alongside. Side by side coming through this is Perpendicular. So Ibo having a little bit of a mistake as well. J-Look is looking in on this. The Swift making his move stick. The Slayer is going to have some work to do to get back at him. Has a bit of a look down the inside. J-Look trying to go around the outside. He doesn't quite have the momentum to keep that going. So he's down at 13th as of right now. But obviously better than he was before, I was going to say, and I've completely jinxed him. He's gone round. Apologies. Energetics on softs, moving through Steban, who's on the mediums. And the team, Steban, is Yoshikane trying to get through as well. A bit of a bad exit in, and California and James are going to close on the back of him. James is trying to get through on the Williams. He's already out of ERS, which is very interesting. He's already managed to do that. Mr. Pro, in the meantime, moving through on Axel. Split Dams around with some clean air, getting the fastest lap just ahead of Nelson just there. Mr. Pro up into 8th, and he is going to have some clean air to go into himself. Let's see if he can utilize that to his advantage. Seeing James on the back of California down into here. Surely he's not going to go for the move. He's looking towards the outside. California a little bit tighter. He can take a lot of different lines through that corner, which is something that we'll see a lot. Mr. Burrow's position has been retaken by Axel, so must have either overtaken him or Sparrow must have made a mistake. Ben Scott on the back still here as well. And Slayer and Swift have lost a little bit of time. Of course, there's J. Lucas spun out of the middle of that as well. That's not going to be ideal for the time being as we head towards this train for seconds, as Major Falcon's absolutely speared off into the distance. Yeah, it looks like he has very good pace with certain tracks, the German, but at other tracks he's maybe more towards the midfield, as Mr. Purro once again retakes the position. This might allow Axel to get back in down towards turn 3, like lunge. Raising between the two of them, bit of contact as Axel lifts the car, goes a little bit too wide. Axel getting a 3 second as well, so he gets one more too wide. Seeing California make a move as well, as Axel is trying to get back this at Mr. Purro on this occasion. Mr. Purro is just going to complete that overtake there. As he's back him to 8th. I think he has to let them back through because of an illegal overtake, because that is a very weird position to do that. Slay having a little bit of a slide there as well. It's all good and fun there. California hasn't made this move through, and James has instead moved up into P5. So him on the soft, he's going to try and keep moving through and potentially challenge these medium runners of the Alpines, who might be working together a little bit here. So that might be a challenge without a lot of ERS here for the Red Bull. As we're seeing Goshike on the back of Steven. I don't think Steven's going to fight this too much, as the Brit is moving through in the Dutchman. Not much error there. And the Brit moves into P3. I think Energetics has made a mistake there, and it's going to allow James to move through. Throw bunching up here into turn 3. It's going to allow, so James having a big slide there on the exit. Goshike once again trying to make a move now on Energetics. Energetics move very late there. As Steven gets into the back of him. Steven trying to get through, but not quite. This roadblock is very intensive. Seeing Mr. Purro, Ben Scott and Slayer all close together as well. Swip is still on the back of this too. Those two soft runners just in mind. It goes Recon and Serial. Seeing Energetics make another big mistake. I think James is moving through. Randy has had 2 people. And Energetics drops all the way down to 5th place, as California is also looking for a move here. And this is all bunching up nicely, and I think Major Falcon is going to be extremely happy seeing this gap just extend by the second. And up to 5.7 at this point. He is looking on for a very, very easy win at this point. But obviously, it's D4. We can't say that for sure. Energetics, yeah, struggling on those tires. I don't think he's very happy right now with them, as he's coming through turn 15 onto the start finish right. Let's see if Kevin Cal in California. Kevin Cal is actually from California. Quite a nice pun there. See Mr. Purro move through Ben Scott here down the inside into turn 1. I don't think Ben Scott has much fighting power, although in the exit we've seen Energetics having a big spin, and he's round. He's on the inside here of turn 3. So he has to move to just try and get away. I think he's done that in the right position, waiting for everyone to get through. Credits to him on that. But that puts a champion's leader out of the point right now in P15. And he has a long way to come from here. He wasn't looking comfortable on those tires whatsoever after the first few laps, and he might be overheating them. We don't know for sure. There's a bit of a factor here that can happen. If you have quite low tire pressures, you might be able to prevent that. Although those tires won't then go as long as you'd maybe like to. So it's a bit of a compromise you have to make either way. And you might have done that a bit too much in favor of the wear. California seems to be struggling a little bit as well, potentially due to the spin having broken up some gaps here. We've seen the American on the back of California, as he is going to line up for a move down towards turn 1. We're looking at the other Red Bull as well. James Head with no ERS is going to try to make a move. Peculiar. Ghost UK staying ahead there. Kevin Cal on the other end is moving through in California. No issues there for the American. He has another drive to hunt down. James Head getting a time penalty there for track limits. And he's up. I think I saw Mr. Purro as well getting a time penalty. He's still stuck behind Axel for P7 here, as he's trying to get the better exit out of turn 4. Let's see, he gets a bit on the grass on the inside, but it doesn't seem to bother him that much as he gets down the inside. Let's see, can he brake later? Then the Greek, no he can't, still side by side on the exits. But I think Mr. Purro has a much better exit, and he is through in P7. And can he finally get rid of the Greek? These two seem to have been going at it for the entire race so far. 3.5 seconds ahead as Karkanen has left the session here. Yeah, these guys already with penalties. It doesn't surprise me. It's a track where you need to be very much on the limit, and you know, if you're not quite that, there's a very good chance you you end up losing a lot of time, but with going on the limit, there's a good chance you exceed some track limits where you don't want them to. As I've seen then towards turn 15. Apologies. Seen a few switches of position. I think Slayer's at a moment as well. The other McLaren also dropping down the field. He's down into P13. Out of turn 14, he's had a moment there. He's going to be coming through down into P13. More yellow flags at the back. I think J-Luke has also spun round once again. That turn doesn't seem to suit him whatsoever. And he's down into last position on the track right now. You know, Major Falcon is, I think, very happy. There's a 90% ERS and just absolutely dominating this race. And this is very impressive to see. He might make a bit of a hit back in the championship here. If he can keep this up, obviously we've still got 25 laps to go, so nothing for certain. Seeing Ben Scott and Axel on the side by side here for P8 here. Axel trying to keep his nose in, but Ben Scott closes that right on him. A very impressive drive. He just about held that on the limit, but it's just about clean and fair as well. As seen the Brit trying to close back up to Mr. Perot ahead. Both the hard runs doing quite well for themselves. And that might benefit them down towards the end of the race. We're going to have to see if that actually comes through. Ghost Recon is on the back of Swift as well, who are both closing up to this little fight. Mediums and softs respectively. And James Heads, we're going to have a look at him because he is trying to go for a move down towards turn 1. I don't think Steven's going to fight this one too much, looking at his positioning of the car. Maybe on the exit he's able to get back at him. James getting a little bit defensive and securing that P2 on track for now. I'm seeing California on the back of Kevin Cal still as well, so these two are keeping together as well. As we've seen, James hold on to P2 for now, so no issues for the Brits. He'll be very ecstatic with the position he's in right now, but that penalty will hurt him nonetheless. As we've seen this little train in the midfield. Just kind of doing their own thing, a little bit off the rest of the pack, especially the Red Bulls and the Alpines. And so we have more yellow flag. J-Luke once again, he's not enjoying his time here. He said he was grabbing a setup to survive, and I don't think that's quite done that, even with the restart. As we've seen him, down in 18th currently, so I think the race could have gone a lot better here for him. Seeing Steven on the Ghost UK actually on the back of James Head. Steven is just in behind there. Once again, these two seem to be squabbling as the Brit is using some ERS to try and get close to the Red Bull. Look at that straight line speed for Red Bull though. It's not realistic performance, I should say. It is all equal. It's just James running a very low downforce setup. Swift on the back as well of Axel, but I think Axel got a little bit more straight line speed. So Swift is not quite able to get through here. We're looking to head back to the Alpine. Not quite able to move through. Ghost Recon picking up a 3-second time penalty as well. Let's see if Swift maybe on the exit here can do something, but I actually think Axel's got the better exit out of all these guys. If anyone could do something, maybe him, but I don't think he's close enough down towards turn 5. Keeps it nice and respectful, and keeps it in P9 for the time being. Trying to string along with Ben Scott here. As a Slayer as well on the back of Serial Killer once again after his low moment coming through turn 14. Dropped back a little bit, but I think he's got the pace to catch back up potentially to this little train in the midfield. And I think we'll see him, especially towards the end of the race, again in the points as well as Energetics. I do believe that they can both get back there, but they have some work to do. Meanwhile, James has actually been sort of catching Major Falcon, which is quite impressive. Obviously, Major Falcon is on a lot more ERS. And when I say a lot, I mean a lot more. I mean, look at it, 85 to 5%. But you know, his pace is definitely not bad for 11 lap old soft. Let's see when he's going to come in. I think that should be fairly soon. As we've seen one car go very wide there. I think that was Ghost Recon, the American. He's rejoined back in P11, so no position changes there. California looking for a move on the back of Kevin. But I don't think California is able to get through. I've seen Ben Scott slowly but surely able to catch Mr. Puro. I think he's gotten in the DRS, and if he can keep that up towards the end of the lap, I think is a very good job from him. As Axel is going to keep on stringing along as well, Swip and goes Recon. The Slayer as well in the back of the Indian here of Serial Killer. I think on the exit he might have a chance. J-Look once again going round to the back. And yeah, he's definitely not enjoying his time here. Player on the back here, still trying to find a way through. Maybe not the easiest thing. I think a few of these guys might have watched Division 1, seen a few guys going to softs and they're just going to take those pit laps. I don't think it'll be very soon at the all pits. Goshike has gone back for the move on James Head. So he's back up into P2. James still staying very close here though. So he's definitely got a chance of podium, especially because Steban does have a penalty himself as well. Swip going through on Axel. Should be moved done and dusted. James Head's going to go back at Goshike. Yes, he can. Late on the brakes. But so is Goshike. Still side by side on the exit. A little bit of a left tap, I think I saw there, but not too much. And he's actually got back alongside the Brit. Not quite. That's Goshike backs out, and that allows Steban to come back into the DRS here. Axel got back at Swip, I think coming through turn 3-4, sort of that area. J-Look once again runs, and he's not far away from being lapped here. So that's a disastrous day from the Haas. Just as I said, he was doing quite decently in P13. Yeah, kind of gone downhill. This lap 1, not too much carnage here right now, so that's good to see. Probably just jinxed that. So we're going to see who's going to ruin that. Swip is still maintaining the back of Axel. Swip has an advantage here compared to these guys. He's the one without any penalties. I think later in the race, if he can keep up the space, he can definitely be on for a solid result here. So looking at the P2 train just in behind Major Falcon, 6 seconds is the gap. Extended a bit with the battling between James and Ghost, but I don't think it's going to matter too much in the end. As I've seen Serial Killer actually go into the pits here from the source. Lap 13, he's the first one to actually do a mandatory stop, a normal one. As I've seen Axel and Swip side by side coming through turn 4 there. Swip ahead, but Axel with the DRS looking to go for a move. Late launch, he's going to go too deep. I think he's recognized that. And he's going to go off track just there. As he can't keep that position now when he's been off track. Because Recon is also looking all over the back of his teammate. Look at that Serial Killer, he's going for the hearts. Missing strategy. Step by now, that's what they're going to stop. J-Look once again round. Turn through 14, and he's now officially been lapped. I think Mr. Puro picked up a penalty as well as Swip has now done, so his advantage is gone with the penalties, as I was saying. Major Falcon from the lead is into the pits. So is James Head, so both those guys, as James Head picked up a 5-second time penalty, that's going to send him back. Potentially ruin the chance of his podium. You know, it's case for the Alpines that they have to work together and try and break away. As J-Look has also spent the pit. I wouldn't be surprised to see retirement there. As I saw someone around, I think that was Energetics coming around through turn 14 as he's just trying to recover the car there, but that's going to set him further back, and maybe the points are looking quite tidy. Major Falcon hits the side of Ghost Recon coming on the pit exit. I said it before the race, that's going to be a difficult exit, but that now brings him back behind James, that he has work to cut out for himself if he wants to try and do this the normal way and get this race win, but he will be devastated with that, and I'm not sure it's going to be his fault for that. I didn't see much of it, so I can tell you. Energetics has gone into the pits as Axel and Swip are swapping positions. Axel back ahead of Swip, P7 now. One thing to know, these guys are going to hit this little train pretty soon. Especially Axel and Swip, I think, will still stay out. Because Rika might go in pretty soon on the sauce. As Energetics at the back has gone on to mediums, and yeah, he's gonna have to hope for a safety car to get some good points here. But yeah, I think these guys are gonna hit some traffic here, and that could definitely ruin one of these guys' races. I don't think Major Falcon has picked up any major damage, pun unintended. But I don't see him. I don't know if he's gonna win. It's gonna be very tough for him. Ghost Recon has come back in with the pace Major Falcon has. He should be able to win. As J-Look gets a 3-second time penalty. I don't think it matters at this point, but he's still driving around for brownie points, I guess. Goes Recon in, not too surprising. He's going to go into mediums, the American, and trying to recover some points out of this. Pretty for late stuff for a soft medium, as he's going to fall behind Serial Killer, I think, just about. Also seen the Indian just come through turn 1 just there. Yeah, he's going to be just about behind there. And but he does get the undercut on most of these guys, so for some track position later on, that could be very nice. You know, the two Alpines look in control right now. I wonder if they know if Major Falcon's had a spin there. They might have seen it on the map if they have the full track map on, or if they're listening to the commentary. We've seen James at the Slayer side by side coming into turn 11. It's a good move from James there, nice and clean, and he is through. As this pace seems to ramp up, but he does have 8 seconds of penalty, so that's going to definitely set him back. We've seen Swip and Axel nearly side by side into the final few corners. And James had to look at this and think to himself, I need to get through here as soon as possible. So let's see how this is going to go. So heading down towards the final corner, and the fast straight here down in towards turn 1. Let's see, James at fastest lap of the race as well. And heading alongside Swip. Swip is boxed in there, he can't really do anything. And James goes through, Axel going a bit wide. That might be an opportunity for James as he goes over the curb, holds the car just about. That curb normally sends you flying, so impressive that he's held it. And James is through on all of these guys for now. I don't think that no one's going to come back at him. And now it's a job next lap for Major Falcon to do it. But he does have a lot of ERS to play with, so he might think to himself that he's a bit safer on doing this. Yeah, he definitely has some level of advantage here still. And I think his pace is still excellent as well as James's. As the Aston Martin already gets alongside Slayer, very good. And gets through on the Dutchman quite easily there. I'm going to hold that inside for turn 11. And now he has the same situation as James had 1 lap ago. But let's see if that's if he can handle it the same way. So let's see if he wants to turn off. Apologies. Just gonna make sure that doesn't happen. And Major Falcon on the exit here. Is he going to be able to get a move done? Because all these guys are looking to go on to soft towards the end, or maybe Mr. Permanent's got on to mediums. We'll have to see. Major Falcon alongside Swip. I don't think he's going to be an issue. Axel though, when is he going to get him? If he does it well, he could get him right here before turn 1 already. Early and quick and through. It's the German. And he is going to be very happy that he's got it done on 1 straight. Just hope he doesn't make any mistakes here, and then he should be fine down towards the next DRS zone here. But yeah, he definitely is. James had another penalty, 11 seconds ramped up for him. And yeah, he is not going to be happy with those penalties for now. As we're seeing, Ghost Recon diving up the inside there of Sinful. Serial Killer also involved in this. I think Serial Killer is on the outside there, making it also through on the Latvian. He's kind of having a lonely race of CE. I think Slayer going around there through turn 8. It seems like he's been tagged around, or he's hit the curb at turn 7. I'm not too certain which of the two. Yeah, at the front, Ghost UK has dropped C-Band, so either C-Band has made a mistake, or Ghost UK has lost some of his pace. Good to keep an eye on that. California, early pit stop. As he's on the end of that lap 18. Let's see what tire he goes on to. I presume it's going to be soft, but 15 laps of soft is a lot. It's possible, but it's a lot. So let's see, as he heads in, I think I'm seeing hards. Yeah, hards for California, that's an interesting strategy. Not so sure why. I think soft, 1 or 2 more laps and you go into softs, but I'm not here to question the strategy. I'm here to commentate over the race, obviously. Looking through, I think he's still looking on for solid points, definitely. His pace has been very solid today, qualifying and in the race, and he's held himself quite clean. So I expect a potential top 6 finish, definitely, for him. Curious what Flip is going to do. Obviously, he's made his mandatory pit stop technically, but he's not going to make those mediums last till the end. I can guarantee you that. So we're going to have to see if he can still recover himself into the point. I think he's able to with his pace. But we've also seen that there's not always pace what's the defining factor in that. You know, James has gone through and Ben Scott, I think, the end of last lap, potentially in California's in the pits. Seen Kevin Cal in as well. And potentially should be onto the softs. We're going to have to see for the American. James Head on the back here of Mr. Burrow. Should not be an issue for the Brits. As he's moving through on the fin quite easily. And we're seeing indeed softs for Kevin Cal, soft for Ben Scott, I believe, and Axel's in as well, so I'd be very surprised to see any non-softs. Ben Scott might go mediums actually, from his position on the hards. Yes, he does actually, so that is a viable strategy. Mediums will be a bit more durable. Definitely not bad. Goshike also getting a penalty, and this brings the advantage back into Major Falcon. Sounds as he's still, I don't think he's as quick currently as James Head is. But James Head is cutting corners to do so, so is he really that much quicker? We don't know. Maybe Major Falcon's gonna hear me now and think to use him ERS. Still 85%. Obviously, he can decide to do that later as well. That's heading into the final business days of this stage. Apology right there, just had to throw in a cough out. Didn't want to post you all to that. Ibo's in the pits, and Steban's in the pits, and that one's more important. They changed his front wing. That's going to set him back quite a bit. I wonder what he's done to get wing damage. It must be early on in the race. Could have been quite a lot because his pace wasn't that bad. Swip and Flip are in. Quite a nice combo there. So Kevin Cal's undercut, yeah, especially with the wing change of Steban. It's set Steban quite a bit back. He's still on for probably top 5. We've seen Flip and Swip coming out the pits as well. They're going to be near Axel, who's just spit a lap ago. As well as Slayer, who has, but he's a bit further back. Axel has undercut these guys and is way ahead of the respective Mercedes and Aston Martin as they're heading out of the pits together basically. And the Aston should be able to probably go through and Swip, I presume, with his pace. Sinful has just been driving around in the hards for 20 laps now. Him, Goshike, and Mr. Burrow are the only 3 who haven't pitted yet. So let's see. As Goshike does do that. He's doing a medium soft strategy here. Not too surprising. Let's see where he's going to come out with his 3-second time penalties. Now my interest is in Kevin Cal. He's obviously on the freshest softs compared to Major Falcon on not too old mediums. So there's definitely a possibility for the German to hold on to this race lead. But obviously James Head as well is extending that gap. If he doesn't get any more penalties, there's actually a chance that James wins this race. Should there not be any safety cars whatsoever. Mr. rejoining as well. On the softs, he's going to be undercut as Ben Scott sets a fast lap on the race on the mediums. Impressive. Seeing Mr. Burrow come out of the pits there. I hope we see no collision there. Serial Killer is just trying to get through there. He's on the hard. He's kind of undercut a few drives, but I think now he's in the disadvantage. And that's going to hurt him a little bit. We see Flip on the back of Swip. As Swip has moved out of the way there. Peculiar move. Not quite sure what that was for, but he has done that, and Flip is frozen. Sinful in the back has actually spun round. They're just now going to have to recover the car a little bit. As he's down in 15th, not looking like he's going to get any points. Gonna have a look at the penalties. Yeah, James Head at the front, 11 seconds, but he's building that gap. If he can keep this up, he needs to gain another 4 seconds and not get any penalties himself anymore. And he's in for a potential win here. And behind Kevin Cal, I wouldn't count out either. I think California on those hards is done. I don't think he's winning it. He's still looking at a decent position, but I think the Hearts is the wrong choice here. The American has got the best tires probably right now, but is he going to maintain those towards the end? When he's potentially called Major Falcon, we're going to have to see. The American now right behind Goshige. Goshige obviously would be in contention should he not have a penalty right now. Meanwhile, Flips is the fastest lap of the race and is trying to recover a few points from this race, as his goal was set to not crash, and so far he hasn't done that, so good job for him. Race is not over, we know that from China. As we've seen Ibo just move out of the way there, Energetic moving through on Sinful at the back. He's not looking like he's going to get points either, as I don't think anyone else there at the back has a lot of penalties, 6 seconds at max. So he's going to have to hope for a few spins to try and get a few points, or have a lot of pace advantage in the next 10 laps. This James Head leading this 7.7 now. He's extended his gap by about half a second per lap. And that would be enough. That would be enough. But can he do that? Major Falcon still with a lot of ERS to play as well, which he can burn towards the end. We have to see whether he does that, or whether he's just managing this gap right now and trying to not lose too much time. Esteban moving through in California. His heart's not working to his desire. But still looking on to 4 P6, I reckon. J-Luke is into the pits, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see him retire. But he does keep in the race. Fair play for him. Honestly, with all the seemingly bad luck he's had this race, I'm quite surprised that he's still in there. But we always appreciate that, obviously. He's seen the commitment. Footnams Ram through an axle, P11, on track now. He's already ahead on penalties, and I think he can still catch the likes of Mr. Puro, maybe even Ghost Recon, and Serial Killer. So let's say around P8, I think that's still possible. On track, maybe even P7. I wouldn't count it fully out, although Ben Scott does seem decent enough to get it done, but he has always got a crash in the ninth as well, so never know about that. Meanwhile, looking for a P2. Look who's caught up already. Goshike and Kevin Cowell. They're in the DRS of the German here already. And I don't think Major Falcon's victory is looking as self-sufficient as it should be, given his pace the early start of the race. But yeah, colliding with Ghost Recon is not going to help your case there. Lost quite a bit of time from that. Otherwise, I think he would still be leading right now. Esteban with the fastest lap. He's obviously got some DRS as well, so that will help him in pursuing that. Goshike trying to go for a move here on Major Falcon. Down the side, not quite staying behind for now, but on the soft he wants to get through as quick as he can. Potentially gap Kevin Calvin. That's his only chance. He needs to make sure that he gets through on Major Falcon, and Kevin Cal somehow doesn't, which is very difficult to do. Switch back here for the Alpine on the exit. As we've seen Ghost Recon and Ben Scott fighting them out through turn 5. Ben Scott, I think, has gone through, but Goshike has gone through as well, but Kevin Cal has followed them through, and what Major Falcon had to do, Goshike had to do, I don't think has managed, and Kevin Cal is into a net lead of the race. But have a look at the gap here, 10.3 seconds. Is he going to be able to maintain this? It's actually going to come down to the wire. So Major Falcon just keeps losing and losing more time on those mediums. I think it's time he has to use a bit of ERS. Esteban is going to be on the back of him right now as well. Trying to move through. Let's see, DRS is open, trying to take the slipstream. Major Falcon's actually just backed off there and went through. I'm curious as to why that is. As Mr. Puro and Ghost Recon are side by side coming through turn 15. Mr. Puro moving through, but the American coming back at him. So we have him yellow flags. I think that is Energetics has gone round, if I'm not mistaken, once again. And yeah, definitely no points for him unless a major crash happens. He needs to gain 4 positions from a lap down, and the safe score wouldn't even give you that. But moving back into the points, on track as well. He's still looking up for a single point. Goes Recon and Mr. Puro and Ben Scott, they're all close together. Jay looking a fast lap, so a bit of a consolation prize for him at this point. And Mr. Puro is in the P8. On those softs, better than the 10 lap old mediums from Goes Recon there. please. Down in P9, J-Luke getting another time penalty. I don't think that's going to matter too much. Let's have a look at the gap here at the front. As Goshike has dropped Kevin Cal here. I've seen more yellows. Once again, energetics. He's dropped behind Ibo now. So, I don't think we're seeing points. Kevin Cal is about 10 seconds behind James Head. Goshike has dropped Kevin Cal, and he's about 8.7. So he's about... If he can gap Kevin Cal by 3 seconds, and he can potentially even get within the 8 seconds of James Head as required, he could still be on for the win. Even though I didn't think he'd be capable of doing, but I think Kevin's tyres may have had a bit of a cliff. He's now down to 1.9 seconds. Yeah, I think Goshike might actually have a good chance of winning this. He plays this very nicely. It's all falling right into his hands. Meanwhile, Major Falcon, who looked to be on for a win, is just falling further and further back. He's not even in the podium position anymore at this point. He's threatening to fall out of the top 5. Even though he's had, spin and hasn't used his ERS, which I still find very peculiar. I don't know why that is something you do. But, credits to him for trying. I don't see it, but, well, I'm not always in the driver's head either, so don't mind to say anything. Spur going a bit deep there. That curb on the entry of turn 13 can completely catch you out, and I don't think that's the right way to take it. California trying to move for a Major Falcon, as I think it was energetic in another moment. California into P5 now, so he's going to be quite happy with that. Seen some blue flags, I don't know which guy, I think that's Ibo. As Mr. Pro is trying to move through on Ben Scott, getting very close to the back of the Haas, as Cody's just trying to, mess up my ears once again. I'd like to do that. Goshike currently within that gap. I'm just going to keep this on. No, actually, this is better because Goshike is the relative we need. Mr. Pearl looking down towards the inside, backside of it. Ben Scott going quite deep, maybe on the exit. Can the Finn do it? Not quite. I think he's waiting it out. As he's holding P8 for the time being. Seen Swip on the back of Serial Killer as well, trying to make a move on softs compared to old Arts. I think it's a matter of time before he gets past, but obviously having to do that on penalties as well. He still has to clear him by about 3 seconds. Flip is still currently on for P10, so I don't think he's going to get any further. He doesn't look like he could get Boss goes to recon or Mr. Burrow, unless he can catch him by 2.5 seconds. It's doable, but definitely not the easiest task in the world. Now Kevin Cal has now maintained his gap around 2 seconds. Energetics once again having a moment. I think he's just further and further back. I don't know why he's... Well, at least try to get through and wait for a safe car, at least in the lead lap. That's why I would try. Because should something happen now, there's still a good chance of a safety car coming out. Swift moving through in P11. As Energetics is letting people through as well. And Codemasters is still trying to mess up my ears. So I'll stop going on board with people. And looking at Goshike here, who is currently on for a net P2. Bardos also going to hold up for the last couple laps. There's 4 laps to go just when they cross the line here. Meanwhile, Steban could play a vital part in this as well, given the fact that he could help his teammates win a race here potentially. Should he be able to overtake Kevin Cal and, potentially cost him a little bit of time, then Goshike has the potential of getting that 3-second gap he needs, and then it's just a case of beating out James Z towards the line. We have to see if he's able to do that. Or if he decides to do that, or that he's just trying to make his own race as good as possible. We don't know. Seen the Dutchman on the back of the American. My voice is completely gone, so apologies there. But Ben Scott is moving through on Mr. Pro. And he's back into P7. Mr. Pro down the inside. Is he going to be able to make that stick? Surely not. But on the softs on the inside he has a lot of grip. not quite here, but then towards turn 5 he's going to have another opportunity with a DRS towards the outside. As they head downhill onto turn number 5 in the hairpin. Ben Scott later on the brakes. Mr. Brewer looking on the exit, try and get back through. I'm just going to remove that spectator menu for a second. I think Ben Scott has held on just about. Yes, he has. And that's a nice job for the Haas here. He has a bit of a slide on exit. Mr. Brewer might not be completely done with this. Ben Scott has his position on penalties, but it doesn't look like he's going to get on track. And the gaps here are very close at the front. This is going to come down to the line. We're also looking who's going to get the podium here. I think it's going to be the top 3 right now. But in what order? I don't see Steban managing it unless Kevin Cal gets a penalty, which could happen. We don't know. He goes wide there, so that's a good chance. Steban trying. Oh, he's hit the back of the American there. Well, that's definitely going to cost him some time. That's not what he meant to do. And that might cost him a bit later as well in the toolets room. Who knows? Spur moving back through and then Scott. These two have been at it all race long. Not surprised that they're swapping once again. But now this does mean that Ghost UK is in a net lead here. And we're looking at a very close fight for P2. I'm just going to bring up the gap. 10.8 and 11 seconds of pence for James Head. That is roughly winning easy. He's right on the limit there. James obviously wants that win. So if he can break 8 tenths to Ghost UK one more somehow on those older mediums, be my guest and try it. Let's see if he's able to do it. That's one of the Haas drivers is around. That is Jay Luke at the back once again. He's going to get a bit of DRS here, James Head. I think he'll be very happy with that. And that's going to help him a little bit in his pursuit towards the win. Let's see if he can do it. Ghost UK losing a little bit of time due to that. It's about 5/10 margin he has. Let's see if the Brit can do it, or the other Brit can do it. Kevin Cal is still in this as well, but Seban might be able to get this move done down towards turn 3. Switchback from Kevin Cal, very nice though. That has to be said, that's an amazing switchback. Seban having a big slide on the exit, and that's Kevin Cal holding on to P3. These two swapping once again, no surprise there. Swipe hasn't managed to clear serial, so that's going to be a fit. Look at Flip, he's going to gain a position on Goes Reek on the point on the penalties. As Kevin Cal, chances of a race win look slimmer and slimmer. As Steban is all over him, and I think that is not helping him whatsoever. Steban down the inside, late move, still a bit of wheel-to-wheel contact. So we have a beautiful helicopter shot coming down in towards turn 12 and into 13 now. Late on the brakes from the American, gets across the Alpine a little bit. I think it was just about fine. I think he was clear enough of the Alpine right there to warrant the space that he needed. Slayer fastest lap. It's not going to bring him a point, but could take it away from someone else. I said J Lucas spun again. Won't be a happy race for them. Steban once again trying to make this move as we head on to the final lap. And James had to find 7.5 tenths out of nowhere really. So he's on board with Kevin Cal. Steban still trying to make a move. Late on the brakes, that's too late I think. He does get through on Kevin Cal, but I think not without any contact, and that is that's a bit too much potentially. Can the American come back? I think it's too late there. Let's see, can James have somehow managed to get this few extra tens that he needs? Or is Coach UK going to crumble under pressure? We're going to have to see. 4 tens is the gap now. James Head needs that 8. 8 seconds is what he needs. Can he do it? Maybe he has some ERS down towards the line. There's not much difference between them. Coach UK having a bit of a slide there. That's not going to help him. We're going to have to see who gets it. 7.6. It's going to go up to 7.7. James at 7.8. This is going to be so close towards the line. James Head is going to cross the line as first place, but is he going to be able to keep that victory? It is right on the limit right now. Coach UK coming for the final corner across the line. This could be the closest thing ever. He does manage it. 17 thousandths in the end. And James Head takes his first maiden victory in League of Europe here. Amazing drive, amazing pace here, and he's gonna write home 25 points to his name. As Goshi K just misses out. That's the closest thing I've ever seen. 17,000s. Kevin Cal finished P3. There's a few incidents with Stevan there as well. I don't think he'll be too happy about that. But still, podium to his name. Definitely can't be too mad here. Stevan at 4th. California 5th. Major Falcon, after his contact with Ghost Recon earlier, at 6th. Ben Scott's going to ride home his first finish of the season. And his first points. 7th place. Mr. Brown, a flip after his wrong tire choice, has corrected that in a fashionable manner, I think, in P9. Gonna get his first points as well. As well as Ghost Recon in his first attendance, 3 points, Serial Killer P11, and it's gonna be 1 point for Swip here in P12 running out. As Flip has left, that should be corrected. He is P9 actually, so Axel is going to be P13. Actually, Slayer, I think, is P13, and then Axel's P14. So, that's just about the race there. James that's absolutely on the line. Creating a fantastic finish. And, yeah, amazing finish there between the two. So we see awful engine noises. Yeah, James Head ahead of Goshike, Kevin Gal 3rd, Steven 4th, California 5th, Major Falcon 6th, Ben Scott 7th, Mr. Puro 8th, Flip should be 9th. Just gonna note that if anyone's watching and doing the standings, Flip should be 9th. Ghost Recon 10th, Serial 11th, Swip 12th, Slayer is gonna be 13th for the fastest lap point as well. Oh, actually, he's not gonna get the point. That is a mistake on my end. Axel 14th, Sinful lap down to 15th, Ibo 16th a lap down, 2 laps down for Chaylook and 3 laps for Energetics, who's not going to write any points to his name. And this is going to throw up the championship all sorts of ways, as well as Roberts and Karkan after a first lap are not going to write any points to their names either. I'm just going to have a quick look if I can figure out who's now going to be second, because God knows at this point. I believe it is going to be James, actually. He should be on 49 points, with Kevin Cal on 43, Major Falcon on 41, so... And Mr. Puro is going to be on 38. So they're all closing up a little bit down towards Energetics. Goshike is going to make a big jump, 18 points to his name. He's going to be on 24, so he'll be happy with that. Steban as well. He's going to be on 39 points. 36, sorry, he got 4th. Apologies. And that is how it's going to conclude. One amazing ending to that race. And I think that's going to be it for me here. As, my voice is absolutely done. I don't have the facilities for interviews at this point. But congratulations to the top 3, especially to James Head, long-time commentator, getting his first maiden win. Obviously amazing. And yeah, that'll be it for me. I think you're Verstappen, and this has been League of Europe Division 4. Next time round, sprint race at Spain next week, and goodbye.